In communities across the country, cenotaphs like this one are constant reminders of the sacrifices made by so many Canadians. This Remembrance Day, on the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, there aren't many of those soldiers left to tell their tales, but we were lucky enough in May to travel to the Netherlands with a select group of veterans while they were honored as the liberators.
Jim Parks, how good to see you.
You too.
I'm Simon Buma, the mayor of Leeuwarden.
It's been 80 years, but they still look at Jim Parks and see their hero.
And we're so grateful for what you did 80 years ago.
See a Canadian who helped expel the Nazis from the Netherlands.
Give you the flag of the municipality of Leeuwarden.
Oh, that's nice. From Leeuwarden, yeah.
That's one of the Dutch towns liberated by the Canadians at the end of the Second World War.
You're still with us, and we're so happy to be with you.
The mayor traveling all the way to Canada to thank those who fought to save strangers a world away.
There we go.
Jim is 100, but he's restless and determined.
Smile.
And is still a soldier on a mission, is among those vets heading back to where he fought his last battle in a long war. And for him, it was a very long war. Because Jim Parks also fought in Normandy, was among the first Canadians to land at Juno Beach on D-Day in 1944. He's found the strength to show up at every important D-Day anniversary and always makes the effort to return to the Netherlands.
Good evening, everybody. From the flight deck, this is your captain speaking.
He is not alone.
We are honored to have a delegation of 21 Canadian Second World War veterans on board.
In a huge operation with tough logistics and a lot of respect, nearly 24 other Canadian vets from the Second World War made their way to Holland this past May. The last liberators, the youngest among them in his late 90s, the oldest 105.
So we just wanted to welcome you on board today.
All right. Woohoo! A flight utterly captivated by these vets. How could you not be? What does it mean to you to be able to come back here?
Whenever I come over here, and I've been over a couple of times now, I get choked up as soon as I put my feet on soil.
Thank you to our veterans. We are eternally grateful for your service to our country.
All of them heading to a nation that has never forgotten what it was like to see the Canadians come to the rescue.
They were sort of kept in their houses or wherever they're hiding. And then they made sure that the people that were outside were the friends, like the friendly forces. They started to come out. But when they first come out, they're sort of a little bit weary.
More than just weary after years of Nazi occupation, they were starving. The official daily ration for each person was just 320 calories in the last days of the war. It became known as the Hunger Winter.
New hope comes to Holland with nourishing food.
The Canadians became known for not just freeing, but feeding the Dutch.
150 lorries driven by Canadian drivers take the precious commodities to hungry Hollanders.
The Canadians were among the first to arrive, and among the first wave of them, the paratroopers, jumping out of planes to land behind enemy lines. Ernie Wiles, at 99, remembers it with horrifying clarity.
We're a little bit bewildered, found all our equipment, our guns, and we had bags strapped to our legs with ammunition in it, and our guns were in there. So as quick as we got to the ground, the Germans were right there. We had to stop them. That's what our job was.
Once his paratroop dropped down in September of '44, the mission was clear and terrifying.
Blow all the bridges up that we could blow up and stop them because they all had their tanks and stuff. Because we parachuted in, we were the first ones in there.
A spirit of wild fiesta reigns in towns and villages freed by the Canadian drive.
There they were to welcome us. The Germans were on the run.
Because the Germans were on the run, that means they were hiding everywhere, making for the closest of calls.
I was told to go down and check this farmhouse. He said, throw a grenade in first and then go in. So I just went there and I said, no way I'm going to throw any grenade. I opened the doors, a whole family of Dutch. There they were, 5 of them. You can't forget that, you know. Yeah.
They killed so many of the Dutch people. It was unbelievable. They would just hand their hands and knees to us. You're Canadian.
Ernie was hurt in these battles. He got shrapnel in his ankle from a bomb going off as he landed a jump. It was such a vicious wound, his ankle had to be rebuilt when he eventually got home. But getting home at all was extraordinary. 7,600 Canadians didn't.
Well, this is me. That's Herbie, and that's Walter.
At 104, Edward Stafford has a few tales to tell. He joined up early in the war with his buddies, the names as fresh as the scenes in his head.
It was really Herbie that got us into the Horse Guards because he joined first. So Walter came to me one day and he said, "We're not going to let Herbie go by himself, are we?" So we decided to hitchhike up to Borden to join the Horse Guards.
They fought together through the Italian campaign, then a delay for Ed. He had appendicitis. His friends continued on to Holland.
And they had told me that Herbie had been killed. And then I had to go home and face his brother, We didn't know what to say to each other, really. Because I'd grown up with Herbie, It's how he was killed, The whole thing was just so stupid.
The Herbie he's talking about was Herbie Stitt, crew commander of a tank hit by a bazooka. He survived, but the tank was damaged. They couldn't fire back at the Germans.
He got outside under fire. He was out there for about 8 hours. He did everything right. He went back, and the first thing he did was go to the maintenance.
An exhausted Herbie took out his sleeping gear to rest. That's when a gas truck rolled up.
The guy ran over him.
Herbie hit and killed by that gas truck.
He was one of the bravest guys I ever saw.
When Ed went back for the 70th anniversary, he made sure to visit Herbie.
I hope it wasn't for nothing, because I don't think any of us knew what we were getting into.
None of them could have known what they were getting into. But what they left behind was a nation with a gratitude that does not seem to lessen. And the Dutch show it in extraordinary ways. Gingerly preserving Allied memorabilia, for example, including one of the cars Ed drove officials and commanders in. To see that car on his last trip a decade ago seemed to mean the world to him.
We were at some function, and all of a sudden I saw the scout car, and I took off, went across this field. It was really something,
When you landed, there were hundreds and hundreds of them there running up to you and grabbing you and Canada. It was every place you went, Dutch people all were waiting for you. It was really you just felt like kings.
It's always so nice because they're so appreciative. To them it's so real. And even though these people that you see, some of them may not even be born at the time. But the history comes along with the family.
It's a huge effort for these men to go all that way to the Netherlands, but there's no doubt the love fuels them.
The love. The love they had for us going over and doing what we did. And we were able to go back. Lots never go back. But for us to go back and see it all again and see how they appreciated it.
Do you hear the heart in that?
So special to have you here.
So I'm so proud to come back.
Can you feel the heart in this? The warriors have arrived again, and the welcome again is full and warm and necessary.
Hello, welcome in Apeldoorn.
The Dutch have been waiting.
We're proud to have you here.
Their liberators have returned.
You may not have noticed it, but some of the vets on that special trip to the Netherlands were much younger. They didn't serve in the Second World War, but they belonged nonetheless. Their special roles when we come back. Veterans helping veterans. We saw that firsthand on our trip to the Netherlands. Let's have a listen to how some of these men share why that bond between soldiers is so strong, even if they didn't fight in the same war.
In the event, you saw Canadian Second World War vets being celebrated as liberators in the Netherlands. You surely noticed a few things. The reverence for these men, yes.
Thank you very much.
The crowds, absolutely. But did you notice those alongside the old soldiers? Paul Clark with 99-year-old Ernie Wiles. Kent Griffiths, always next to George Morash, who's 102. The younger men vets themselves on another mission now. Battle buddies.
It's a part of my routine, and I just love to see him, and he loves to see me.
So you're kind of his person now?
Yes, I'm his person, and he's my person.
Kent and George are both Calgary Highlanders, one who saw action and horrific losses in Normandy and the Netherlands, one who served in Afghanistan. While working for the Legion, Kent first met George and his wife Fern 5 years ago. And then, when Fern died, Kent realized something about George.
He doesn't have any children, he doesn't have any living brothers or sisters, so I thought I would help fill that void and go over and visit him.
What can I say? I love Kent.
Yeah. Do you find, Kent, soldier to soldier, that there are things you can talk to George about that maybe you don't talk to others about?
Absolutely. I'm his confidant, he's my confidant. We've gone through similar things. I certainly wasn't in a war like George and didn't have to watch my buddies die in front of me. So he's a tough man, but the memories, they come back. And every now and then we'll have a little cry together, and that's not a bad thing at all.
George, does it help having Kent here to be able to talk soldier to soldier?
Yes. I don't know what I'd do without Kent.
This is not an official program. There's no national caregiver strategy in Canada to pair younger and older vets, but it's a thought. And in the U.S., in Virginia in particular, it's a practice.
It's not all sunshines and rainbows. We're doing the hard work.
Shauna McLean lost her dad to the ravages of the Vietnam-era chemical Agent Orange. Bothered by how aging vets struggle, she became the chief operating officer of Heroes Bridge, in part pairing up younger and older vets.
We always say the veteran picks their battle buddy, because we can have a social and a veteran can sit with 4 different volunteers. He's going to click with probably one of them.
There are phone lines for lonely vets to connect with other service members, meal deliveries, home repairs, soldiers helping soldiers.
Especially our Vietnam veterans, they're a little untrusting at first that someone's going to help them and for nothing.
Does it work? Shauna says there's every indication the companionship and caring make the men feel stronger, healthier, and that's a victory.
This one here is a fire department.
Even here, where these connections all happen organically without funding or structure, the results are real.
You look a little younger there, Ernie.
Oh, well, I was getting younger all the time.
You were a jumper, and I was a jumper.
We were paratroopers. We just trained and then went overseas and did our work over there.
Ernie Wiles was one of the first Canadians to fight the Germans in the Netherlands. At 99, he still lives alone in the Kawarthas in Ontario.
Another British paratrooper here.
Yeah.
And he's got the maroon-colored tie on.
And he met Paul when the younger vets spotted Ernie in the maroon beret of parachutists. They started talking and just kept at it. And when the realization hit that Ernie needed a caregiver to accompany him for this year's trip to the Netherlands for the 80th anniversary of liberation, it was just a natural choice that Paul join him.
He looked after me pretty good, kept me out of trouble. I was always roaming around somewhere, you know, with a walker.
And he was like that too. If I turned my back for a second, he was gone.
Nice to have a good friend with you, that's for sure.
The trip, a memory now, the relationship still ongoing. As much as he can, Paul checks in on Ernie. Not an obligation, an honor.
It's not too cold, is it?
Yeah.
A friendship, and in an ideal world, a trend.
And we got to go in the parade, and the people would reach out and they would want to touch your hand. That was a great event.
To chat with Kent Griffiths now is to get the feeling he'd love that too.
This is my duty in life right now, is to be his friend and to make sure that he's feeling valued as a veteran, because he's a hero. And look at that big smile here. Someone was either telling you a joke or you were really happy to be there.
Remembrance is an act. It demands that we do something. So does love. And this is both.
That love is also obvious in the way families are remembering the soldiers who are no longer here. Up next, a mother-daughter duo go on a very personal journey to retrace the steps of one soldier's last days of the war. 80 years after the end of the Second World War, some families are finding ways, unique ways, to remember the sacrifices of soldiers no longer here, including a pilgrimage of sorts.
No, it's not a mirage. Those are Canadians coming over the Dutch hills into Wilp again. Not liberators returning 80 years later, it's their children. Canadians in their father's footsteps. Thanked by the Dutch just the same.
I wish you a beautiful day today. Thank you again.
For the sacrifices of the men whose photos they wear.
I want to give you a set of letters to you, the children of the people who are you carrying at your chest. It touches me. Thank you very much.
Among the group, these two. Sue Brady, her daughter Holly Laird from Oakville, Ontario. They're here for him, Sue's dad, Holly's grandfather. He's Jim Gibb of the Royal Canadian Artillery. He fought in Italy and then right here in the Netherlands. Gone since 2018, piecing together what he did is a constant labor of love.
If he were here now, what kind of questions would you have for him?
Well, why did it take so long to tell me the story?
What story? Well, one of this church, of the bullet holes in it, and that steeple. That Sue knows any of it is because of this man. Ott de Vries. Friends now, but strangers 25 years ago when Sue came to the Netherlands with her dad. They encountered grateful Dutch citizens, Ott among them. Jim asked his new friend to bring him to this ancient church. He'd never spoken of it before. What Sue learned then is Jim was part of Operation Cannon Shot in April of 1945.
Canadians massed across the Isle River, supporting armor to the far bank.
The mission to break through the Nazi front. When his regiment got to the town of Wilp, he and a fellow soldier climbed that steeple to keep watch. They hid there for days, being constantly fired upon.
So Ott, my friend, went and found an older gentleman who came, and he said, I remember feeding you. So at night, they would bring the food to the soldiers.
Amazing.
It was amazing. And we got permission to go up, climb up this very steep stairway, and he got there and he goes, there's my initials. It was unbelievable.
You know the way.
With Jim gone and Ott no longer able, Sue's determined to see the steeple again, show it to Holly for the first time.
I think it's locked. Oh, no, it's not.
This is how you pass down history.
Wow. How's your knee?
My knees are fine. My heart's pumping.
But she's her father's daughter, not a big fan of obstacles.
There was two of them. They were here for 3 days. Yeah. Dad said they had fabulous views because they could see so far on 4 sides.
It's a perfect lookout.
Yeah, it was a perfect lookout for crossing the ice.
What's this like for you?
Just so proud of my grandfather and all that he achieved in 6 years of service. And to go from Sicily all the way through and survive and then liberate the citizens. It's just an amazing moment.
Anecdotes come in flashes on a trip like this.
Let's walk with the first Canadian, second Canadian.
Walking the battlefields, crossing the rivers as their fathers did, the families retracing as much as they can, the stories flow. Even in the places of reverence, those cemeteries filled with young Canadians.
We walked the Reichwald. We walked through Emmerich. We saw where he crossed the Rhine. They showed us exactly.
A treasured memory, the Dutchman who once tracked Jim down to thank him for giving the man's family his rations. It saved them from starvation.
Dad did make a connection with the family, this gentleman.
All she's learned helps her make sense of Jim. She even understands now why he was such a picky eater.
We always had to have potatoes, meat, and vegetables separated because he said for 6 years he had eaten out of his helmet. And he said, I don't want to do that anymore.
Details keep those we love alive.
Do you ever worry about people not remembering?
Well, yes. Well, not in my family.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather was World War I. Dad was World War II. My son is in the armed forces right now, and my grandson just went into the armed forces last night.
Remembrance with this family is a purpose. It's Sue and Holly laying the wreath at the Grosbeak Cemetery, where so many of Jim Gibbs' Canadian comrades remain. And in a moment that has to give you chills, just behind the nearly 24 vets in the Apeldoorn Parade, look who walks in their footsteps. Maybe these next generations, who are the story keepers, descendants of the liberators and liberated, still connected, is what the future of remembrance looks like. The vets will always come first, but the history of what happened here is in good and caring hands.
Thank you for watching our Remembrance Day special coverage, and as always, thank you to the veterans, especially for their generosity in sharing their stories. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.